Since Friday, I've been listening to a lot of people speak about what they think about the group. I've been reading a lot of comments on the Twitter page, but I've also been trying to wait to make this video until we found out where Ecuador was going to play. Luckily, I think it's a place or places in our favor, and in this video, I'll be sharing my thoughts and reactions to Group E, which consists of Ecuador, Ivory Coast, Curacao, and Germany. Looking first at the teams that we have to face, and starting with Ivory Coast, I've seen a lot of people kind of have mixed feelings about it. Some people have said, no, this should be an easy win, or it's expected to win. Others have made the comment that we actually have to be a lot careful with this team, especially since the experience we had with Senegal. And I would say that, I don't know, when I read this, I think a lot about, Senegal, but I also think that at the time, Senegal had a tougher team. I think against African teams, we always struggle with the physicality. That's always going to be our issue. And I think that this game should be different. I mean, I don't think that this Ivory Coast team is at the level which Senegal was back in 2022. I don't think that they have the stars, the world-class stars that maybe Senegal had at the time, like Mane, like Koulibaly. But they do have decent stars, I would say. Definitely not your crazy game changers, but they have Allaire playing for them. The guy that played for Brighton and now is in Sunderland, I'm forgetting his name. But they also have Diallo from Manchester United, as well as that guy that went to Saudi Arabia, what's his name? Kessie. So they have players that have quality, have experience, but could it be to the point where they're playing in top teams and being those game changers in their clubs? No. But I do think that ultimately when we face them, because this is going to be the most important game, I think that the physicality is what's going to be the difference. It's what's going to be advantageous toward the Africans. But I think that we also have an upper hand because we have the players, but we also have the experience of maybe thinking about the Senegal game and seeing how do we manage to be more effective with these type of teams. So I don't know. I think that we have an important friendly coming up with Morocco. That's probably all said and done, but I would have liked maybe to have a different friendly, maybe again with Senegal. Because while Morocco is an African team, I think that the style and just way of their players, like how they are, is completely different when it comes to the African like teams like Senegal, like Cameroon, Ivory Coast. So I don't know. I think that if there's a chance to change this friendly, this would be a good opportunity. And also, I mean, considering that that Ivory Coast is currently the African champions, and they have an upcoming tournament early next year in January, so that's only beneficial for us because this is a tournament that I guess it would make sense that they're going to be taking it seriously, and that they would bring all their players and that they would try to win this tournament. But that's only to our favor because we will be able to analyze this team and see exactly what to expect from them and see what ways maybe we can cause them harm. Now, thinking about Curacao, this is their first World Cup. Their manager just came out and said that he knows nothing of Ecuador, doesn't know any of their players. And I was looking at their previous performances, especially in the Gold Cup that just happened over the summer. And I don't think that they did very well. They got eliminated from the group stage. They got beat by Honduras. I think a tie versus Canada, which I guess is a good result. But you know, when you lose against Honduras, it definitely speaks a little bit to your capabilities. But for the most part, most of their players do play in Europe, and they come for the most part from Dutch descent. I think only one of their players is actually born in Curacao. But when you think about it, when you have a European-based team, that gives you a lot of technical and tactical advantage, I would say. I don't know if it's going to be enough when you're facing against teams like Ecuador or like Germany, but I guess you tend to be more organized than maybe other CONCACAF teams. So I don't know. I mean, for me, it was very surprising to see them qualify. I think that I'm not gonna take anything away from them from qualifying, but I do think that maybe this time around we saw a very weak Jamaica, a very weak Honduras, a very weak Costa Rica that might have helped them be where they're at today. But I mean, they've earned it. They're here, and the last thing we want to do is think this is going to be an easy game. And the last team in the group that we're going to be discussing is about Germany. They have the skill, they have the depth, they have the players, they have the discipline. But what they don't have right now, a lot of people have stated, is the mentality, the confidence coming from not having the best World Cups, and also trying to find a consistent number 9. They've struggled with that. But I mean, that's something that we also struggle with. So it's going to be an interesting game. I don't think it's a complete loss for us. I think that if we play our cards right, then we can definitely get a positive result. I do see this being a very tactical, demanding game. I think knowing them, they're going to look at what our weakness is, and from my perspective, that's transitions. We've always sucked in transitions, so I think I would expect them to play a very high pressing style of play against us, trying to provoke those transitions. And even though we have solid defenders and a solid goalkeeper, you know, and one of those where you just get caught off guard, and just give away those spaces from quick transitions, they're gonna try to capitalize on that. So it's gonna be an interesting game. So, I mean, it's definitely going to be the toughest one, but I definitely don't count it as a loss. Before I give my final conclusion about this video, I do want to announce that I'll be giving away a Kenny Arroyo player issued authentically signed jersey. I always like to do something like this closer to the holiday season, and I think we've had a fantastic year overall with the support that everybody has given the page. So all you have to do is subscribe to the channel, this YouTube channel, comment what game you're looking forward to the most in the World Cup, and come December 22nd, I will message that subscriber letting them know that they won. In conclusion, I think that while we have a group that seems very similar to 2022, I do think that everything is to our advantage to win. Considering that the most important games are going to be pretty much where we're expected to have the larger crowds. So versus Ivory Coast, not only are we going to be having the fan base, but we also have a more experienced team. Even our strongest players, when you consider them or compare them back from 2022 to now, they're a lot better. Like Hincapié, Pacho, Caicedo, Plata, and we've also added players like Angulo. So they're more experienced now. They've gone a lot better. This is their second World Cup for most of them. I definitely expect to win. I don't think that we should be walking away with a tie or a loss in this game. When you think about Curacao, again, they might have decent players, but I honestly don't think it'll be enough, especially considering the defense that we have. It should be another easy win. And against Germany, we're going to have, again, that home advantage, that fan base advantage. We're going to have, I do expect a very tactical driven game, perhaps kind of waiting for those moments to attack, or Germany provoking us in situations that they want us to be in. But I think that a tie is a realistic result. Just like them, we struggle with having a solid striker, a consistent striker. But I do think that our defense is going to make the difference. And I think that a tie is a realistic thing to aim for.